right, we are back with race number 2. Looks like they're just reaching in here. You can see that backwash from the brake wall, and looks like pretty similar conditions. Race 1 only ended a few minutes ago. We got right back into race number 2. So
Yeah, and it's the kind of the battle of the slow kiting coming into this boat end. Definitely a skill to be able to go nice and slow, and it looks like there's definitely this fight for this boat end. So looks like we're going to start, and there we go. That was the gun, and we are off.
yeah, looks like everyone was stacked up at the boat there. They might maybe feeling that right favored course as they wanted to get right. They might want to start up at the boat there. It looks like Marcus got a really good start. Will and that leading fly surfer, that green fly surfer, he was off really well. And Ryan Satterberg right in the pack.
Yeah, and Evan Heffernan and Marcus tacking over. Evan is definitely known for that boat end start. He's got a really nice slow high mode and able to just time his start off. He got a little pinched off by Marcus, it seemed like, and Marcus is in a nice controlling position going out to this right-hand side towards the beach.
Yeah, Will is definitely leading off the line, but I would be starting to worry. And as I say that, he is starting to come back. There he goes, covering that right, covering Marcus and Evan, which are his main competition here. So he doesn't want to leave them for too long.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's pretty flat water and pretty light. So what are some tips that they could be, or what are the key elements of kiting in this kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's pretty flat water, so they're definitely not going to be dealing with too much chop, and they're probably still a little underpowered in the stuff, even though most of them I think are on 21s, at least the guys in the front of the fleet. So they're probably just pressing really hard and playing that VMG upwind to keep that speed up. But I think a lot of these races will come down to maneuvers and just keeping their VMG up, as it might be too light to stay on the foil for a lot of the maneuvers, but it seems like the guys at the top have been handling it pretty well.
Yeah, and you can definitely see the seaweed from that drone shot. Looks pretty gnarly over in this corner. Evan Heffernan tacking out of this corner. Not sure they're on lay, and Marcus looks like he's going to lead him back towards the fleet, and we'll see kind of where Will Sear ends up. So Will coming off pretty early, and Marcus,
Big
little
splash,
splash, but
Marcus.
hung on, and Kai Calder, nice little lead bow again. Marcus is down.
Definitely has some kelp there, and he is losing a lot right there. We'll see if he can get that off. He seems to be okay now.
Yeah.
And Will, he's down again. Yeah, Marcus could have a similar problem as the last race. That is very unfortunate.
Yeah, it looks like Hontos is having a good race. Just came off the screen, but looks like he's in 4th or 5th place there.
And Will here definitely doesn't mind the left. He is kind of leading back. Maybe he saw something on the left that he liked, and he wants to go back for more here.
Back to a little farther back in the race. Definitely Marcus is struggling with this seaweed. And now we're back to the top 2 again. But we'll see if Will made lay or if he's going to have to do this little double tack up. And then Evan is on Kai's hip, so we'll see where the lay line ends up and who made the right call.
With the drone here, you can see the seaweed pretty well, and I don't see very much right now. Maybe that's a strategy to stay offshore a little bit on the left. Maybe it's worse for wind and angle, but staying out of that kelp could be worth it. So maybe Will figured something out here that maybe others will want to follow. And he is on ley line. That is a big gain. And yeah, it looks like he's jumping.
No.
Oh, wow, yeah.
He is down. He tried to clear kelp and just did not do it very well. But definitely a nice lead. So he's definitely got some time to stay into 2nd place here. So
Kai is off to the races, and Will seems to be back up and going strong. A lot of times at the top mark, they will the kiters will jump a little bit and try to shake the weed off their foil. A lot of times it's those small little strands that get caught on there that you just can't break through.
Yep. So it looks like Noah Zutrair again in 4th place, followed by Leaf, and then not sure, but Ryan Satterberg, and then Hontos in that 6th and 7th position with a little bit of a gap to that next spot.
Yeah, in this fleet, you can be a few seconds behind the leader, but it'll look like a really huge distance. Even though this fleet looks really spread out, you wipe out and you could be caught by 10 guys right away. So they look spread out, but they're going so fast that you can lose that gap really easily.
Yeah, any little mistake is going to cost you.
I think we're looking at Will here on that fly surfer, and is that
I think that's
Noah
Evan.
in the black and maybe Evan in that blue kite.
Yep, exactly. But this is just a speed battle here down to this bottom gate. Definitely looks like Evan has got that low mode and not losing much speed on Will. But Will definitely in the commanding position coming into this gate. He's going to be able to choose if he wants to go left gate and speed up or wind a jibe. And Marcus with a nice comeback over on that left side. Looks like he was able to do that jibe out, not hit any seaweed, and get some nice pressure over on that right-hand side of the course.
Now we are actually getting information that Marcus is retiring from this race and just heading back downwind to the start line. Something must have went wrong with him, maybe a gear or kelp or something, but he is retiring from this race. So we still have our top 4 here. Kai in the lead, rounding that left mark, it looks like, left side of the gate. And the 3 kiters behind look like they're going to follow.
Yeah, and he's headed out to that right-hand side. It looks like everyone else is going to do the same. And we just rounded that bottom gate, and Kai Calder definitely hit some seaweed or made a mistake and is down. We'll see if he can regain quickly, and it looks like he can. Evan Heffernan tacking out, definitely trying to avoid that seaweed, I assume. But Will Sear rolling the dice maybe and going over to that right-hand side with a nice pressure and nice shift. There's, I believe, Kai Calder, and in the background in the orange is Ryan Satterberg. Painting over some pelicans. Nice work from our filmer. But we're back to the race with Evan Heffernan coming back from that left-hand side.
Now, we see a bit of a split here as they come back together, but on that first upwind, Will seemed to protect that left, and Evan seemed to protect that right, and now we see a flop. We see Evan taking it early, tacking to the left, and Will coming out to the right a little bit. So maybe they liked a little bit what each other did, and they're kind of taking a little bit out of each other's books here. But now it looks like Kai here coming out from the right-hand corner, and Honto's tacking a little bit behind him there.
Yep, and panning your shot is Will Sear, and maybe we'll see Evan Heffernan coming across here again. So he's going to be tacking to cover here and going to ley line.
Yeah, seems like Evan gained quite a bit there by going out to the left. Maybe he escaped a little debris or a little bad air. Not sure, but maybe the wind was better on the left too. But it seems like he's in a controlling spot here. Maybe on ley line, maybe not. Hard to tell from this angle. And then Will is leading out to the left just to leeward of him.
Yeah, and from this drone angle, you can definitely see all that seaweed in the water. And all this kind of weird wake from either boats or the backwash from the breakwall. But yeah, definitely Evan pushing hard here, going upwind nicely. And we'll see where that ley line is hopefully in a second here.
Seems like Will is gaining a little bit of windward ladder rung here. He seems to be crawling up in front of him. Maybe Evan is over ley line and putting the bow down a little bit here, or Will just has a higher mode.
Yeah, it could also just be Evan hanging on to some seaweed and choosing to ride through it instead of clear it, which usually it seems like Evan is clearing it at the top mark, and then you turn back downwind, but we'll see if he does that here, or if he even has seaweed. But this is definitely a close 1-2, and looks like Will Sear.
Yeah, Will did make that ley line, which is another good call from him. But having that tight ley line, he maybe didn't have quite as much apparent wind as Evan, because you could see Evan really slingshotted around that top mark and went right into that low mode and seems to be immediately directly downwind of Will. So big gain there around that rounding by Evan.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage to keep your high mode and then really accelerate around because you keep so much more apparent than Will Sear, who definitely was high and slow and had to regain his apparent wind.
And Evan learning from his mistakes in the last race with Kai, jibing early, knowing that ley line might come a little bit quicker than he thought. And Will, there's a big kelp there. Barely avoided that big piece of kelp. And now Evan seems to be gone. I don't know if Will seems to be pumping his foil here. Maybe he has a little bit of kelp. Maybe he has a little underpowered. But Evan streaking away.
Yeah, and pretty cool. You can just see that. Oh, they're dodging a little bit more kelp there, Will. But you definitely see that foil underwater just working really nicely. and still really light air. But it's definitely that balance of how hard you push against your foil and how much do you kind of let that soak mode go and lose a little bit of power in the kite, which I think is what you're playing upwind and more maybe fine-tuned on the downwind, since you can, one, push through your foil, and also you can kind of let it go too light. So it's definitely a fine line that these guys are pushing.
These kiters are going so fast downwind. By the time they see a piece of kelp, it could be too late for them to avoid it. So a lot of times they're kind of, I feel like I've heard them say that they're just kind of closing their eyes and pushing hard and just hoping for the best. And other times they're kind of being a little bit more conservative, maybe off the gas a little bit, and looking to not fall.
Yeah, but Evan chose a near perfect ley line, it looks like. You can see that little mark right in front of him. But it looks like we're going to pan back to third, fourth, and fifth here, which is...
Yeah, it looks like we have two blue ozones here. This could be Kai. This could be Ryan Satterberg or Kai Calder. And it looks like Honto's in that white kite, easy to spot, bringing maybe fifth place here.
Yeah. It looks like Ryan Satterberg pushing really hard. You can see that ventilation and trying to hang on. But it looks like Kai probably has it in the bag here. But obviously we've seen a lot of crashes here, so anything can happen in this last little bit. So it looks like they're going to round this pin and reach to the finish here.
Yeah, this one might be a little bit close for Kai Calder's comfort, as Ryan, the young gun, really coming up the ranks here and threatening the top dogs.
Yeah, but Kai's going to hold on to this one, and Ryan's going to get a solid fourth place. So that's an awesome result for him, and Hontos Viejas coming in fifth place. All right, stay tuned for race 3.